Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great week. This week we had to do a William Allen White Award winner book. I've chosen The Giver by Lois Lowry. Um, this book would be for about 12-year-olds and up. It's pretty complicated as far as content goes. It deals with utopia and individuality and some deep concepts. So you definitely want to make sure you have older kids read it. Other than that, it's a very interesting book. The first thing I want to comment on is it is a novel, so the only picture is the cover. It's cover art, which is photographs. This character here is the giver, and I'll explain all this to you. And it's kind of reflective of his world and how everything's in gray and dark, and there's nothing really there going on in his world. But he gets memories. He has these memories, which is kind of shown here by the torn page, and it's sunlight and color and trees, and it's a beautiful, warm kind of place. And these are kind of the memories. But the book is complicated. It starts out, the main character is Jonas, and they live in a community of sameness. Everyone looks the same, acts the same. No one has any feelings. No one has any individuality. When they're born to like mothers. They're like surrogates. They have the babies, and then the babies go and live in like a nurture center for like the first year of their life. And then after they're a year old, they're assigned to parents who are compatible to the baby. Well, the parents are matched made by compatibility, not by love. So whichever people are most productive and compatible together, they're a couple. And then they raise 2 children and 2 children only. Well, when their children become 12, they go to a ceremony where they're assigned jobs to be adults. Our main character, Jonas, is turning 12, and he's going through the process of becoming an adult. And he's a little bit different than all the people in this community. His eyes are a little bit different. His brain doesn't really work in the same way as everyone else's, so he's just kind of an oddball out. Anyway, he gets assigned memory receiver, and how this happens is the giver, which is this character here, is able to touch the back of Jonas and give him the memories of the past. The community wasn't always the community. They experienced hurt and hunger and strife and poverty, and they experienced all these horrible things, and then the happening called sameness happened, and everyone became same and similar, and all the pain and sorrow went away, and all their memories got taken away and given to the memory receiver. The memory receiver can feel and see all these memories, good and bad, from the past, and every so often the giver gets old and needs to be released, which means they die or they're killed to get rid of them. And I'll explain that here in a second too. But they pass on this power of the memory receiver. And it's Jonas's turn to get that job. So he's going through training. And one day, his father is a nurture center worker, and he helps take care of all the babies. They have a baby that won't sleep through the night. He's very different. He won't cooperate. He's a baby. He doesn't do what the other babies do. So Jonas figures out that he can share good, warm memories with the baby, and he'll quiet and go to sleep. Well, because he's different, the community doesn't like it, so they sentence him to be released or killed. So Jonas can't bear the thought of that, so he comes up with a plan with the giver to save the baby. Well, Jonas finds out that the baby's due to be released the next day. So he doesn't have any time to really come up with a good plan, so he takes the baby and he gets on a bike and he runs, or rides the bike away. He leaves the community and they send out search planes for him, and when he gets far enough away, they kind of quit searching for him, and he's experiencing all these lights and colors and beautiful animals and beautiful season changes and things like that, and he gets to a point where it starts to snow. Well, while it's snowing, he's getting colder and colder and colder, and he isn't able to feel the warm memories any longer. So they start to freeze to death. So Jonas, with this little baby, has to come up. They come up to this mountain, and he has to climb this mountain. I don't know why. They just say that's what he has to do in the book. And he climbs the top of the mountain, and he's trying to touch the baby so he can continue to give him warm, happy memories, but he's running out of happy memories, and the baby's starting to freeze, and he's starting to freeze, and they get to the top, and he's able to produce a sled. And he gets to the top, and he sees this sled, and then when he looks down at the bottom of the mountain, there's a village with lights. And he just has a feeling that that village is where he's meant to be and where he's meant to go, and that's where someone is waiting for them at the bottom of this mountain. So he gets on the sled, and he's hopeful that someone's waiting for them that will help them and take them in, and that's the book. That's how it ends. Definite cliffhanger. Didn't know where any of this was going. It's very descriptive. It's a modern fantasy, science fiction category. So it's very interesting. It leaves a lot of unanswered questions and things that you're like, hey, what the heck happened? So this book is really interesting if you guys would want to read that. It was hard to come up for a strategy in response to this book. So I think the best way to go about it is to just kind of talk about the themes that have my students write about a utopia, what they think would be the most utopic situation in their lives and what they think would make them the most happy, and then maybe realize at the end that there's no such thing as utopia. There's always going to be faults and there's always going to be something wrong, but we just have to kind of overcome it and embrace who we are in our situation. And that's kind of the theme of this book is we can't have happiness without sorrow. You can't have pain without good things happening. So that's kind of what we learn in this book. And then another thing what we learn is just be true to yourself and true to who you are, and things will work out somehow. I don't know if it worked out for Jonas in this book or not because it ended so abruptly, but I'm hopeful for him and his character that things did work out. So I think it's definitely a good book to read for, creative minds, and you can do creative projects with it, like the creative writing or drawing or, different projects and what you would see, how you would see yourself in a utopia. So that is The Giver for the William Allen White Award.